Before we jump in on this episode, we wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to our patrons over at Patreon, and they keep the lights on.
Yeah, so we have Eric Sari, Andy Herbrandt, Lauren L., Rock the Green, Paul Campaneschi, and Hanson Screen Printing. And actually, we have a new one today, Apurba. Who's been listening for a while now. Holy smokes. It's awesome. It was cool to meet you and your boyfriend, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool when we get a chance to meet, any of you, the fans out in the wild. It's definitely an honor, and to have them sort of recognize us or to be wearing some of our swag, that's always really cool. Yeah.
So Eric, cue up that music.
Hey, welcome to the Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast. We are your hosts, Eric Sturgeon.
And I'm Russell Sari.
This podcast is about all things Wisconsin: history, music, culture, and beer. Although we don't often use strong language, the content is not intended for young audiences, so listener discretion is advised.
If you love the bluegrass music you hear in this intro, please check out Dang It's from Madison, Wisconsin by visiting their website, dang-its.com. Now on to the show.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wisconsin Drunken History, your weekly dose of the Dairy State. We, of course, as always, are your hosts. I am Eric.
And I'm Russ.
And today we are talking about the legendary Beloit manufacturer, the Beloit Corp, and the ironworks and paper industry in the Beloit area.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff, actually.
Absolutely, yeah. It's kind of the last little city before you get into the Fib country, and in fact, I think isn't there?
There is a South Beloit.
Exactly.
So it's half and half.
Exactly. So there is actually a Beloit in Illinois versus the Beloit.
There's Wibs and Fibs.
There's Wibs and Fibs. So we also have great music today from fellow Kinsman. We do have a brew review, which is very exciting. We have another edition of the infamous How Many Locals, man? Oh, God, and this one's really cool. And we have a great interview today as well scheduled for you. I know we took a little bit of a break on the interview last week.
Yeah, just because the episode kind of got a little lengthy. Because I wanted to get everything in there, right? I mean, it's a history podcast, so we figured, we hate the interview is a huge part of the show. But.
Exactly, yeah. And every once in a while, sometimes we have scheduling issues, kind of trying to coordinate schedules and things. And then also, sometimes the episodes just get lengthy in themselves. So,
I got some coming up in November that are going to be long. There might be two-parters, honestly.
Exactly. There's going to be some definite two-parters.
This one probably could be a two-parter, to be honest. There's a lot of info here. So
let's just not do it.
Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Just kidding.
Yeah. So, so we want to obviously go over a couple of the other house cleaning things. Remember to like, rate, subscribe, review, share, do all that sort of stuff. We really appreciate it. It really does help kind of keep us on track with the growth and all that. And obviously, your suggestions and things have come in handy numerous times.
It's crazy. I actually just met someone from our podcast that's been talking to me a lot. Actually, from our YouTube channel. They reached out and they've been giving me all this really cool history up north. So I'm hoping I can write some episodes about the gangster activity in Hurley, Wisconsin, which is pretty neat. So
yep. The gangster and stripper activity.
Both. Titties and guns.
Yes. Yep. You could just call them both guns.
Guns and
guns.
All right.
And then we have our TeePublic site. All of that can be accessed right through our own website, which is WisconsinDrunkenHistory.com. Very easy.
Yeah, exactly.
And so all of the information can be found there for TeePublic, for the Patreon information, as well as episodes are generally posted there either same day or next day. And then, hey, we've had another new exciting feature. Facebook actually now has our podcast episodes posted day of as well. Cool.
We can listen right on Facebook now, which is really neat, actually.
So, if you follow us on Facebook, you can go to our page and actually an automatic post gets made for us right away Sunday morning. and the episode is dropped in, and you can literally click on it and listen right there, which is absolutely exciting because, it's just another way for us to reach, individuals that maybe haven't checked out podcasts before, and if they already follow us, it's great.
Yeah, you don't have to go to like an Apple Podcast or download an app. You can just listen right on Facebook. Actually, right on your phone. I checked it out to make sure it works. It's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Actually. Like when you're scrolling, you can listen. It's pretty sweet. So
yeah, and like I mentioned before, the TeePublic stuff, that's for any of you that want to wear our merch. We've had a ton of really big sales the last couple months, and people have been taking pictures, tagging us in their Instagram posts of, hey, you've got a really good husband when he recognizes that you're having a bad week, and he gets you a coffee mug from your favorite podcast.
Awesome.
Seeing that was absolutely incredible. I absolutely enjoyed, and I always enjoy anytime we're tagged in something.
It's that time of the year too for like hot cider and some SoCo. Heat that up on the stovetop, put that in your mug. Oh my god, that's like the best warming.
That's not what I was thinking.
What were you thinking in there?
I didn't know you were going that direction.
You're thinking Licoritos. Are you thinking just straight bourbon in there?
I just like to pour bourbon on my Doritos and
bourbon
mush them up into a nice pudding.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into our main segment. Again, is Beloit Iron Works / Beloit Corp. All of the different manufacturing things here. Russ, give us a little history.
Yeah, so actually this history, like I found out from a program I'm currently in called G Beta. It's like startups and entrepreneurs, engineers, can go in there and help out these companies. And it's kind of crazy because I am a business owner as of yesterday, which is nuts, honestly. But
you look like one.
No, I look like a fucking dirtbag. Like the fact that they're like, you want to come in. You look
like the most homeless business owner I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, a beard and like a fucking Christmas Packer sweater today. I mean, like it doesn't look that way. And I'll never be, I'm not going to be an LL Bean type guy, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to dress fancy. Like, you
might be an LLC guy, but you're not going to be an LL Bean kind of guy.
I'm a dirtbag. You've known me for so long now, so it's not changing anytime soon.
The song by Wheatus, Dirtbag.
Yeah.
It has never rang true for anyone so much so as you.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm a smart dude, but I'm not going to fucking change and be like a nerd. So it's just
flannels and shit jeans.
Yeah, pretty much shit jeans, flannels, shoveling poop, Packer sweaters. That's just who I am. That'll never change.
And that's kind of like Beloit too. It's just kind of the scenery that when you drive into Beloit. It's just a hardworking town for the most part. There's a lot of manufacturing there, and that's exactly what I think kind of embodies.
And I'm glad you brought that point up because Rock County is commonly more known as a blue-collar county, right? Yeah. I mean, we've had GM, we've had the Beloit Corp. I mean, most of the people there are workers. There's not a lot of the white-collar. And I'm not saying that as an offensive thing or anything. Like, it's more of a blue-collar town. Absolutely. It's not a white-collar town. So I'm going to begin this history, and it's really cool. So I found this presentation thanks to Kari Swirth over at Irontek, and I did a little bit more digging, and thanks to Beloit Historical Society, I found out some really great information on this. So I wanted to report it. I think you guys will find it fascinating. So it begins in 1858, 22 years after the founding of Beloit, when Orson E. Merrill came from Beloit from Vermont and started a foundry at 637 3rd Street. And within 1 year, he took in partner George Houston, and the firm became known as the Merrill and Houston Iron Works. And its principal products were water wheels, developed by George Houston, but the firm also supplied many of the other iron things that were common in the day, such as horseshoes, nails, iron and steel castings, saws, augers, spokes, and a variety of iron products, which in that day, I mean, these were like top. You needed to buy. You needed to go to a foundry to get these things.
Especially augers and then the horseshoe nails and horseshoes.
We didn't have...
That's incredible.
Yeah, we didn't have a Harbor Freight or,
Well, right.
where you can get them cheap and like...
And these were actually much higher quality.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Harbor Freight.
Yeah. They weren't from China, so...
Yeah.
And then Orson Merrill's brother... Soren T. Merrill owned Rock River Paper Mill Company. Situated close to the Merrill, Houston on Rock River in 1860, Sereno Merrill asked his brother to make parts for his paper machines. And this leads into our next part. And the parts were very great and the high quality and they did not come from way east as before, but by 1862, Merrill and Houston were producing complete paper machines, building 4 in that year and several years after. several years thereafter, along with water wheels and other iron products. So they're making paper mills and these iron products. So they're kind of branching out, and you're going to see where this kind of takes off and becomes a bigger deal. And the ownership of the company did change over the next 20 years due to management difficulties, paying off creditors, the normal business op stuff that happens.
Yeah.
And however, 14 paper machines were built that year, 8 in 1883 and 5 in 1884, which is a big deal at this time. These are some of the early paper machines and some of the early designs that were huge. I mean, this is what took off the paper industry, which we talked about in our toilet paper episode and many of the other episodes we've talked about. And finally, on January 7th of 1885, the assets of the company were sold at an auction, and a successful bid of $20,000 for part of the plant and real and personal property made by J.D. Rexford of Janesville on behalf of his creditors. When 4 employees of Merrill and Houston associated themselves and ended up purchasing the business themselves. And Beloit Iron Works was in business, and that's when they changed the name to Beloit Iron Works instead of the Merrill Houston, the George and Merrill Houston.
Yeah.
And the organizer and president of Beloit Iron Works was Fred Messer, who was a superintendent at Merrill and Houston. So these are all people from Merrill and Houston. And they all got together and made this company like employee-owned kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and though there were no orders for paper mills until 1887, the other parts, of course, are a big deal at this time. And about 100 men were working in the facility and the officers were able to buy all of the property of the old Merrill and Houston Works, which is actually located right on the Rock River there. And today it's actually the Irontek location, the Irontek property. You're going to see like the YMCA there, Irontek. It's actually really nice. Diane Hendricks, who's like one of the state's richest people, actually owns that property, and she's the one investing. She bought like the ABC Stadium where the Snaps play, the Snappers.
Yeah.
And like the downtown has really come around, and it's turning around thanks to the Diane Hendricks Corporation, which is pretty cool. And growth continued as part complete machines rebuilds and paper mills in the Midwest, Canada, and as far away as Texas. And in 1891, the company made the first complete Yankee machine ever built in the U.S. In 1893, it was invited to build and install a paper machine at the Chicago World's Fair, the Columbian Exposition, which we've talked about multiple times.
Yeah.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. I mean, a lot of these big manufacturers from Wisconsin were there.
I mean, a lot of it really got started with the Chicago World's Fair.
Yeah, exactly. And demands for paper obviously was growing at this period. Paper, like, it's not like today where, like, right now we're reading off our things. It's just easy and readily accessible. You know?
This is shit paper. I mean, they used to make good paper back in the day.
Some parchment. So, and the first machines in Beloit had been as small as 30 inches wide, but in 1890, 100 inches wide one were being designed. So the company had to undertake an expansion program, and more land was acquired on the west side of the Rock River. And in 1896, a new foundry was built, as well as new machine shops and offices. The modern equipment was also installed. And the wooden buildings they replaced were now made by brick and glass. So they're making this thing better than what it was, right? I mean, a lot of these buildings back then, like we talked about, the Peshtigo fire, were made of wood, so they just burn right down, right? So like now they're going to brick and making them more industrious and industrial.
Well, and I think that started to become a huge thing with the bigger the buildings were. There started to become building standards.
Exactly.
Making things that were a little bit more fire retardant and could withstand high winds and things that would normally wreck a building in the early 1800s. They started to kind of consider that towards the late 1800s and into the early 1900s.
Yeah, which is insane. And then the Beloit cylinder machine could produce about 75 feet of paper per minute, which is pretty incredible at that time. And the other machines were making about 400 to 500 feet per minute. And in 1910, a cylinder machine was designed for 300 feet per minute and another machine for 600 feet per minute, which is insane. I mean, 600 feet of paper at this time was a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess, I don't.
It's crazy because we don't think about it, right?
I was
paper's so simple and like
I can't really necessarily fathom the I guess the importance of this because 400 or 500, 600 feet of paper per minute doesn't necessarily compute in my brain. But think about producing anything of 600 feet in 1 minute, and paper doesn't seem to be like the
yeah
the most incredible thing, but yeah.
So one incredible feat of this company was being able to ship overseas, full paper machines. And in 1897, a machine was shipped to Japan, and 2 went to China in 1900, which is a pretty incredible feat considering like the logistics aren't what they are today, right? So
it's just big boats, and it takes, I bet you, months.
And you know, they're known nationally and internationally because of the Columbian Exposition Fair, the World's Fair. Just everyone came from around, all the newest ideas, the latest technologies and everything. So just incredible. And as the first years of the 20th century passed, demand for paper was growing, and machinery builders had lean years and well as good years. And you know, they continued to improve their designs. And the Beloit machines continued to break records in speeds as well as production at this time. One bright young man was hired was Albert E. Neese, just 30 years old at the time. And he was the vice president and sales manager of a competitive machine builder, and also the husband of Laura, Mr. Aldrich's only child. Albert Neese, who already had 13 years experience in the industry, quickly became the strong factor in the management of the company. And with his help, Beloit Iron Works increased sales rapidly. In 1916, when he came, sales were at their record time. In the next 15 years, grew eightfold. So 8 times the manufacturing, 8 times the machines were being produced when he was in office, which was pretty incredible.
I think something that's even more incredible is this person is 30 years old.
Yeah,
and he was the vice president and sales manager of a competitor to the Beloit company, and then took over for this company, and I mean all at 30 years old.
Right.
I mean, before he even has his 31st birthday, he's accomplished all of this.
Yeah, and due to all these sales, the company continued to make improvements and also expand the campus and continued to increase. And employment had reached a peak of 550 people in 1930, which is one of the largest employers in the area at the time. I mean, obviously with Beloit, you got ABC Bearing now. The only other thing at the time would be Fairbanks Morse, which was a massive engine company. We have to do an episode on them alone, right?
Yeah.
And when Aldrich died in 1931 and was succeeded by President Albert Neese, they faced some of the worst years of the Great Depression, and orders for complete machines were pretty much non-existent, and parts and repair orders were pretty much not happening at this time. Obviously, the Great Depression, big deal, right?
I mean, not a whole lot of nothing was happening at that point in time.
Yeah, so the workforce was then dropped down to about 180 people, but a slight upturn occurred in 1933, and gradual recovery took place the following years until 1937, which employment then reached a temporary 640. So it did drop from 550 to 180 to 640, but the Great Depression, obviously, big deal, right?
Well, and manufacturing for a lot of this stuff goes up during like wartime. You know?
So that's actually what we're getting into next. So
right.
In 1941, the Beloit Iron Works turned part of its production to war materials, building machine tools needed for war production. And by 1942, nearly 100% of its capacity was being used for crank pin turning lathes, boring mills, and powder mills. And during the next 3 years, the company built nearly 178-ton Corvette engines for the U.S. Maritime Commission, which is pretty cool. They built the Corvette engines right there, which is awesome. And the Army-Navy E for Excellence Award in November of 1943 was actually issued to them for their continued, just helping out. And obviously Fairbanks was involved as well.
Just being an incredible company, for the United States, and they get that Excellence Award. Yeah.
And to handle all the pent-up demand after this period, the machines in the years following the war, capacity was added and land was more acquired, and the tail race, which had separated the island, was filled in. New buildings and modern machine tools were put into operation, and Beloit's complete Yankee machine ever built in... Oh, sorry, guys. I fucked up.
No, it's okay.
And the paper machines were soon again breaking record speed production. And in 1947, a tissue machine was furnished that ran 2,800 feet per minute. So, I mean, the thing's increasing like 5-fold, right? I mean, it's like 5 times as fast as it was producing, which is pretty impressive. In 1947, a tissue machine was furnished, which ran 2,800 feet as well. And so this was like when we talked about the teepee and the toilet paper episode, like they're producing some tissues now. So we can get some ass wipe coming out of here as well, which is pretty sick.
Hell yeah.
And by 1950, the first tissue machine was designed and had a speed of 3,000 feet per minute. So it went from 2,800 in 1947 to 3,000 in 1950, producing tissues.
I could do a lot of damage with 3,000 feet in a minute.
One Taco Bell trip for me, but...
Yeah.
And the workforce was growing rapidly as well. And there were about 1,000 employees in 1946, 1,300 in 1947, 1,450 in 1948. And employment...
So it's just growing.
And 1,690 in 1952. And it just continues to grow and grow and grow.
Wow.
And so Harry Moore, who also became part of the company, was a charismatic person and shared his keen interest in expanding sales. And the company spread its wings with the opening of the 1949 sales office in Paris to promote the Beloit machines throughout the world and have another place where they can get this out there, right?
Yeah.
And a West Coast sales office was also opened in Portland, Oregon, followed by one in Mobile, Alabama, thus, kind of spreading the entire country. You got like the West Coast, East Coast, South, And so they purchased the foundry and machine shop facilities in downtown Downingtown Manufacturing Company in Pennsylvania in 1955 to allow production in another location as well. And next was a place in Italy where they could also get more distribution in the European markets. And in 1958, Beloit machines were soon being manufactured in England, Japan, Spain, in all owned by the Beloit Corporation. So they're having pretty much worldwide employment at this point, which impressive at the time, right? And important in the development of the company were the establishment of the research facility in Beloit in 1955 and the 1961 completion in Rockton, Illinois as well, a few miles from the Beloit plant. Like we talked about, there's a South Beloit and Beloit. So there's like WIB and FIB. You got the mixture of the two. You got Illinois and Wisconsinites.
Yeah.
So. And Albert H. Neese participated in the dedication of a new research facility, but died unexpectedly in August of 1961 as chairman. And the name Iron Works no longer seemed to describe the company's activities, and further diversification was planned. So the company officially became known as a Beloit Corporation on January 1st of 1962. And a search for new products began, and the company tried its hand in a variety of new endeavors, some related, some not, in the paper industry along with other things. And we're also signing with firms in Poland and India for building the Beloit paper machinery. The first turnkey project was for an integrated pulp and paper mill in India in the mid-60s. The Wheel Roller Company of Kalamazoo, Michigan was also acquired in 1966. So this company just continues to expand. I mean, it's huge. And it's just really cool, the Beloit history. And during Moore's leadership, Beloit became the major paper machinery builder in the United States and even in the world. And as the industry became more mature, sales continued to grow almost every year. Beloit's technical lead was strong, its patents numerous, and its innovations valued. Moore became chairman at the end of 1974, the position he held until his retirement in 1978. And he was succeeded by Neese Jr. as president and later chairman.
Wow.
Yeah, so that gets kind of back and forth between the Neese, Moore.
Right, because you had that incredible span of time with Neese, and then you've got a great in between period there with Moore, and then back to Neese Jr. So it kind of stays within that group for quite a while. Yeah,
and so the next thing you're going to probably recognize, the company growth continued, and they purchased the Lennox Machine Corporation. So Lennox makes a lot of copiers you're going to see in like your offices today and stuff, which is pretty impressive. And the shareholdings of the Beloit overseas plants as well. A new partnership was formed in a manufacturing plant built in Brazil in 1980 to continue to get into the Latin America market now. So the facility expansion and improvement occurred in all divisions. The company made large investments to maintain and increase its technical lead. New research facilities in Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, Lennox, Massachusetts, Bolton, England. There's just a ton going on here. And they wanted to have the capacity to build the largest machines and have them readily available to their customers. And from its beginnings with 15 people to 1980s with 700 employees, Beloit Corporation made steady, sometimes spectacular progress through energies and efforts of many dedicated, innovative, skillful people, engineers, salesmen, foundrymen, managers, machinists, researchers, clerks, and many other things. And this went all the way up until the year 2000 when it did officially close. And the property kind of went vacant, right? I mean, there was nobody in there. They kind of realized, like, they were bought out and things moved, and it just became like a dump.
Yeah.
Basically. And thanks to like Diane Hendricks and her husband, they ended up purchasing this property and re-innovating it into the community now. So like these old buildings are still there, and you can go and visit them. Like the YMCA is there, and you can see all the old beams and stuff. It's just a really cool campus, and I'm there often. I have to go there quite a bit now with the new project I'm working on. But just a fantastic history, and I'm so glad like the Beloit Historical Society was willing to give me this information. It's just incredible to me.
And I think a lot of important things had happened kind of along the way that helped really kind of boost the production and the importance of the paper industry in the United States. And one of the really neat things is, obviously Wisconsin is sort of situated sort of mid United States, and so with having to ship and deliver these things, it's a lot easier to start from the middle of the state to be able to kind of reach the west or the east in about the same time frame. Getting machines all the way to the far east coast to the far west coast is going to be about the same time. And then to continue to expand into other countries really just means that they're going to literally have a grasp on the entire industry.
Yeah.
Like nobody will be able to outdo them because they literally are everywhere.
Right.
And by the mid to late 90s and early 2000s, like you said, when the closure happens, that's really not a fault of their own.
Right.
The cost of production and manufacturing in the United States didn't make sense, and more companies were money hungry than anything, and so shipping most of manufacturing somewhere overseas, whether that be down south in Mexico or like you were saying, kind of over in the Latin America area, or even to Europe, it's like it just didn't make sense to continue to manufacture things here, and so we saw a mass exodus of a lot of these manufacturing things here in Wisconsin alone.
Yeah, and I mean, like, technology has changed too. I mean, like, paper making is a lot more simplified now and a little bit easier. There's just a lot of factors that contribute to the Beloit Corporation basically closing its doors. But then, like, Rock County is, like, taking hits, like with GM leaving and the Beloit Corp and a recent company I left moved to Mexico. I mean, like, there's just a lot of
which hits. I was going to talk to you about, man. I just saw there was a commercial. Political ads are obviously starting to run now, and Russ and I have we've avoided talking politically on this podcast for 78 episodes now, and we're not about to begin. But last night I happened to be watching the news, and a political ad ran, and they mentioned the company you used to work for.
Yes, yeah.
Which I don't care if we mention it. Do you?
No, that's
okay.
Fine.
So Huffcore.
Yeah, Huffcore, where I was an engineer at for about 7 years. Something like that.
Yeah, and I happened to catch that they mentioned your that company, and I just thought, holy shit, the private conversations that you and I have off mic and behind closed doors just happen to now be kind of pushed into the mainstream with this new Wisconsin political ad, where your frustrations that you have with that company and just kind of with that kind of thing in general. It's out in the open now.
Yeah, I mean, it was the reason I left. I just didn't agree with the decision making, and it's just another hit to Rock County that Rock County just doesn't need, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I love that area. It was kind of like as a kid going the Rock County area, like to the mall or whatever. We'd make our exodus over in that area. I mean, yeah, it has its problems, but like it's just another blow, right? And I figured I needed to leave. I have thankfully found a really great job now where I'm designing farm equipment, which is pretty Wisconsin, to be honest with you. And I love it. I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world, but it's just a really sad thing for me.
And I think things are again looking up. As you mentioned, we have a few key players who are willing to invest money and stuff into the counties that mean the most to us here in Wisconsin. And as long as those individuals continue to do what they do, I think we'll continue to see a good rise in not only employment and manufacturing numbers and things, but potentially even just great people and great companies making their way back to the Wisconsin area.
I think one of my leading driving causes of leaving literally was because I had so many friends who were in the union, right? And I wasn't in the union. I'm an engineer. I work in the office, a white collar job, But those people, like, to me, were my friends, and it was like a stab in the back, you go drink a beer with somebody, but then you're still staying there while their jobs have been cut. It just was just not for me anymore. So, which was the reason for me leaving. Yeah. But that's going to conclude our main segment.
Yeah.
And
we will move swiftly.
Let's get out of here. I'm starting to fucking tear up. We're just kidding. But on to our music segment, guys.
All right, and on to our music segment. Like Russ said, we have a really cool artist right here from the Milwaukee area,
which is awesome.
Yeah, little surf-ish indie, little smoked paprika, as he says as well.
Yeah, it's really good music. Eric kind of just showed me these guys recently, and I'm falling in love with the music. I mean, I've already jammed a couple tracks here, and the one we have for you today is just phenomenal.
Yeah, so, fellow Kinsman, like we mentioned, is kind of a Milwaukee area artist. The song that we have today is called Wasted. But, we did want to point out, too, that, definitely go check these guys out live. Make sure to check out their websites. Simply Google their band name, and you'll find information. And if they have a website, or if they have like their own what do they call it, Bandcamp, those are great websites to kind of maintain any sort of idea of where they're at and where they're playing, or if they are. They're such an incredible band, and we feature so many incredible bands that now we're in at episode 78, I think, and that's probably close to 78
bands,
individual artists.
It's pretty nuts, right?
I don't think we've duplicated.
There's actually more because we had specials too in between. So
true.
There's a lot of music we've had.
Yeah, we're well over 80 at this point. With those specials, like you said. So, but fellow Kinsman, another one of those just really, really cool. Great sound, super individual. Like, I don't think you're going to find somebody that sounds quite like this. You can certainly hear some of their influences, but they're certainly not just taking it, ripping it, and trying to duplicate some of their favorite artists. They're really just taking influence and making it their own. So without any further ado, here we've got fellow Kinsman, Wasted.
Live
awesome.
That was Wasted by fellow Kinsman. Again, definitely go to their website and Bandcamp and whatever to try to find out a little bit more information about them and listen to more of their tunes and support them in any way that you possibly can. Because,
hopefully we can go see them soon with like all the bands playing out again. I think the Lemonheads, which is awesome, are coming to X-Ray Arcade.
Ooh.
So I got to see that, but I'd love to see these guys as well downtown Milwaukee anytime.
And I love X-Ray Arcade. If you haven't been to X-Ray Arcade in Cudahy, I mean, it's a small venue, but they do have a few really cool older arcade games kind of
cool
around the whole backside. Really nice bar.
It's funny, like the downtown, like I've been to there's like Frank's Power Plant, there's Cactus Club, there's X-Ray Arcade, Hi-Fi, just so many cool spots to see. And hopefully we get to see them soon, especially like we have a lot of bands we got to see here. Right? We've had a lot on the show. We got to go and see.
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
I've only seen, probably a handful of the ones that we've featured. But most of them, we just find naturally by either listening to like 88.9, which another thing, go sponsor or go support rather 88.9 Radio Milwaukee. It's really great. It's completely independent. They really do completely rely on the listener fund, if you will, and I absolutely love everything that they do in giving back to the community and also playing Wisconsin music, which is awesome.
It's cool that they play a lot more local, because if you go to like a lot of other ones, they have like a small segment called local, whatever.
I think at least play one an hour.
They play a lot of local.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I come to Milwaukee, I hear a new band where I'm like, oh, God, I got to reach out to these guys. It's just incredible music.
And the other thing is, too, it might be called Radio Milwaukee, and it's local to Milwaukee. It's actually located really close to not Third Space, Broken Bat.
Broken Bat, yeah. Actually, Kitty Corner.
Kitty Corner.
It's like really close.
And their 88.9 is actually opening a cafe of its own, too, a little restaurant thing.
Oh, cool.
But you can get their music right on their app, too. So you can actually go to 889radiomilwaukee.com or whatever, and you can actually listen wherever you are. So you could be in a completely different state. If you want to hear great Wisconsin music, which I know you do because we have the most premier musicianship around, you can listen anywhere. It's awesome.
Yeah, I
love it.
How I heard of 88.9, I went and saw Margot and the So-and-So's at at Mad Planet, and I went to Field Cafe after, and they were playing 88.9 in Field Cafe. I'm like, what station is this? They're like, oh, it's the local Milwaukee station. I'm like, holy crap.
They were like, listen here, you goofball.
Do you know what you're talking about?
Do you know who this is?
This is 88.9.
Because that's what happens at Fuel Cafe. They just judge you.
Do they?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. You just made it up. Okay.
Yeah.
I just went there because it was right by Mad Plant. I wanted to get some coffee after because I was like had a few brewskis and I need to pep up.
So super funny. This is going to be relevant here to this whole thing. Last night I went to Mobcraft to meet a couple of friends before the Bucks game, and we were also picking up our Advent calendar, which those of you who are Patreon subscribers, I urge you to tune in. We are going to be doing a special beer review each day in December for those beers. There's 24, so 24 days of reviews. We're going to video record the whole process of Russ and I drinking these things and giving our take on that. And so again, this is the Mobcraft 24 Days of Beers Advent calendar. Only to our Patreon subscribers, though, will you be able to see that. So if you want,
the first day of Christmas, Mobcraft gave to me a brewski in my belly.
Wow,
yeah, it's pretty good, huh?
So, we didn't plan that.
We didn't plan that at all. I just drunk enough to say, to sing. So it was dumb.
So,
Fuck yeah.
As I'm leaving with this, gigantic 24 beer case thing, it was I actually ran into one of my old roommates from back in my Milwaukee days, and that was neat to see Alex and his brother Seth. And but while I was at Mobcraft yesterday, I tried a fantastic beer, which we are going to have again today.
Here we go.
And review it. So this is the One Love Bundt Cake. It is a Belgian quadruple, and Russ, this is a 10% ABV beer with about a 24 IBU. So
not super bitter,
exactly.
but it's
bitterness
high
units.
in the ABV units here. So
Yeah.
and it's a quadruple. Holy smokes!
And I think that the typical pour in the tasting room was 10 ounce. The little cute little bubbly glass, that was nice. But the 64 ounce growler to go, you can get that. You can also get a 16 ounce to go. Russ and I have the 16 ounce to go, so we're each drinking about an 8 ounce pour here.
Yeah.
And Russ, just first initial tasting response here.
Yeah, so it definitely has that Belgian flavor. The quadruple, I'm wondering if they're adding some more beet sugar or adding their more sugars to this. I'm guessing a beet sugar they're probably using in this to kind of keep with the Belgian tradition.
Yeah.
I can't tell for 100%, but
probably beef sugar.
beef sugar. Oh yeah,
beef steak.
Straight beef.
Wrench, beef bucket.
Beef broth bowl. But no, I'm definitely
Mystery science theater.
Heck yeah. So I'm definitely getting the raisins a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm actually getting
That was my first response too.
I'm getting a little bit of the raisin flavor, and I'm guessing they use raisins, correct? Did they?
Yeah, so this is actually brewed. It's re-fermented with raisins, cherries, and a hint of vanilla.
Okay, because you're getting a little bit of that like winey-ish taste to it, like a little bit, like from the raisins, I'm guessing.
And it's aged in a rum barrel too.
Okay, so that might be my next thing. I was getting a little barrel flavor on the tongue here.
Because it's a little wood with a little rum.
Yeah,
you get the boozy, that top
like brown
notes
sugar
of the
molasses
Yes.
taste a little bit coming through.
Yep.
Obviously, like this one, if I were to have a full pint, I'd be, dude, like I'm not driving home. Like there's no trick or treating. Today's Halloween, by the way. We're recording on Halloween.
You'd have to walk your car home.
Oh, dude, I'm in a ditch. Like there's no bags of candy coming home with the kids. I'm like in a ditch.
Oh,
They're gonna have to call
God.
mom to come get me. So.
You know what I love most about this beer is it's not like others that you have. The fact that it's barrel aged, great. Barrel aged has been done a 1,000 times, 7 ways from Sunday. But the fact that it has that re-fermented kind of section after it comes out of that barrel, it's got that raisiny fruitiness, but not really heavy with the fruit. It's really more with that savory raisin, vanilla, honey. Along with the booziness of that rum, which is amazing.
So I was going to ask you when you drank it, there a little bit of carbonation? Because obviously we're not getting a ton, but
very little bit.
Okay, because that's what I figured. It's in a barrel. It's just kind of mellow.
Yeah, because they typically, I think what Mobcraft does, and we could probably talk to Henry about this a little bit more, but which they've got some incredible news. That's recently come out too, that they're going to be expanding. They already have a building purchased in Waterford, right down the road from me here.
Awesome.
So they're going to be putting in a tap room and a restaurant over there, which I'm sure I'll visit more so than I do getting downtown. But just they typically will take anything that's barrel aged and they'll move it back to the fermentation and carbonation kind of side as well, just to give it a little something extra.
Yeah, and no, this is a great beer. If you get a chance, definitely check this one out. It's the One Love Bundt Cake, amazing Belgian triple. Also, beer news. So did you hear Central Waters is coming to Milwaukee?
It's already here.
Yeah. So Captain Pabst, who we were going to have on one of our original episodes, which since went under, they're going in the old Captain Pabst right downtown, where we actually filmed our promo video.
Yeah, so
which is really awesome.
They, as of this episode, when this airs, they've had their opening. Their grand opening was just a couple weeks ago, and so they've been open for maybe about a month at this point when this episode releases. And stupid phenomenal place. They've completely revitalized the old Pabst building that they're in.
Awesome.
And it just fits, man. You can see it right off the highway too, which is, oh my God, so cool.
And they're just great people. Like, remember we had Anello on the show.
I'm going there today.
You are? Oh, great. After the Bucks game.
Before the Bucks game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm going to go get hammered.
Yeah, I know. Like, I was going to say, you're down there all the time for the Bucks season ticket holder over here. So
yeah, I have attended all 3 home games up until this point, and then tonight is the quick turnaround from the Spurs over to the Jazz. So
cool. This
will be the home game number 4 when you guys are listening to this. I'm sure we've had maybe 1 or 2 other games too. This releases next week. Okay. Yeah, so if you don't know our release and recording schedule, we talk about it every once in a while, but a lot of times we like to try to bank episodes if we can, and we don't generally do any more than maybe 4. So anytime Russ and I get together, we're usually recording maybe 2 to 4 episodes, but it's absolutely a phenomenal news to hear about another great Wisconsin brewery from up north in Amherst to come, down and grace us with their presence in Milwaukee, which is awesome. And I'm sure they were going to have a phenomenal response to them being here, because it is one of the premier craft brewery and kind of microbrewery in Wisconsin. We have a ton of them, obviously, but yeah, check out Mobcraft and Central Waters. Make a day out of your Milwaukee trip if you got the stomach and can handle your beer. There's a lot of breweries really in that brewery district now, and while you're at Mobcraft, I mean, you can kick on foot probably 3 or 4. The distilleries right there. The distilleries there too, and then also there's another
Broken
one.
Bat's not that far. It's
Broken Bat's not
away.
terrible. Yeah, it's, just in third space is only a few blocks from there too. Yeah. So, amazing. Obviously, we love tasting beers, and we love to tell you how we like them.
And support local.
which we have never hated one.
All right, now on to the Loco segment.
Oh God!
Here we go.
Grab a seat, gather round, join us for a chat. How many locos you have?
Oh shit!
You know what that is, folks.
Yeah.
Ho ho ho! Here we go.
And hey, Sons of Leroy coming in clutch again with the intro for that. Thank you, Adam and Scott. That was amazing. I'm kind of in that band now too. We've been rehearsing, and I am the drummer for that outfit. But we have a truly special Locos event.
All right, let's hear the event. I'm ready.
Some of you may have actually heard about this and seen this, because it is kind of a newer topic, and I think it went viral as far as Wisconsin things go. But this is from the Barron County Sheriff's Department, the Post, and they wrote on their Facebook page, again, this is the Barron County Sheriff's Department Facebook page, they wrote, "Where do we begin with this one? Look, okay, yeah, it got below freezing in the last couple nights, and okay, yeah, the frost has made an appearance. And sure, we love ice fishing as much as everyone else, but, and this is important, the ice is not ready yet. Please keep the shacks at home for the time being. Let's enjoy fall while it's still here. Let's, sweater weather, all that kind of jazz. We will have plenty of time to freeze our butts off in the dead of winter, jigging and putting our tip-ups in and all that other shit. But keep it at home for the time being. We'll let you know when the ice is ready." And then they also wrote, "And yes, alcohol was a factor in this crash. For those wondering, in fact, it was the 3rd OWI incident for the night. Come on now." And there is a picture that goes along with this damn thing. Russ, I'm going to go ahead and...
I did see this already. I saw this one.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know...
So,
oh, man. And look, where can we start? I mean, you got...
Well, what you have is a Chevy pickup truck that is completely, almost completely underwater, with a ice shanty attached to the back.
At like a 30-degree angle in the water.
In the water, exactly. He has jackknifed this trailer, and they are both almost completely submerged. Again, like the Post says, yes, okay, it's cold. We get it. It is not that cold, and it has not been that cold for that long.
Yeah.
Science will tell you it takes time to get the ice thick and to even get it frozen over. None of the lakes or any bodies of water have frozen over even a little bit at this point.
No. I mean, there may have been a thin layer of ice
around the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, where it's, 6 inches deep.
How far do you think he went in before he realized, like, oh, shit, bud, I'm in some trouble here? He's in there quite a bit. Let
me drink the rest of this beer here. Yeah, so he's definitely in. I don't think he's in too far, because I don't think that he probably drifted.
You think so?
Yeah, the momentum of the truck as he was driving probably, once he hit the water, just carried him a little further. But I think it was almost an instantaneous thing where he was
Holy
like,
smokes.
"Oh, shit,
I'm
that's
in
right.
trouble."
It's only October."
I mean, like, so we got. He's like a little bit of older man, 3 OWIs, truck, ice shanty in the water here. Alcohol involved, so obviously bad decisions making aplenty.
Yeah. And this happened. It was late, but it wasn't like midnight or anything. This would have been an accident that happened probably just after sundown, and by the time authorities and everybody gets out there, it's probably maybe close to 9. This is just ridiculous. I don't necessarily know where I stand on this one. I think I'm gonna pull a number out. And Russ, we may not be anywhere near each other on this one, but I think I've got some sort of a figure here.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Okay,
so we'll go on 3.
On 3, let's give our numbers. Okay,
3, 2, 1, 14.
12. Oh wow,
yeah,
a lot closer than I thought.
I mean, yeah. So we'll go with a 13 loco here. The unlucky 13. It's Halloween today. The unlucky loco. Trey. Holy smokes, your Spanish is crap, dude.
Yeah.
But
thank you, Elkhorn High School, for the tremendous Spanish.
But I just can imagine this guy sitting in the bar like, "Oh, Dale, yeah, let's get out there. I heard the fish is biting in Barron County. I'm gonna load up the truck and head on out to the ice."
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. You're fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm not coming with you.
Fucking Bill and Dale fucked up on this one.
Bill and Dale.
Yeah.
Fucked. Like,
now, again, we don't really know if that's their names. If it happens to be their names, I'm sorry, but
we were just talking about the farming naming convention when you have kids on a farm. It's like Phil, Bill, Dale, Justin. Like that's like the fucking names. Like every farmer.
And
Phil,
then
Bill, Dale, Justin.
The one unlucky one that gets named Farmall.
Farmall. But dude, if you ever go to a farm, like there's a Phil, Bill, Dale, or Justin on every farm.
And John and deer.
Johns. There's a lot of Johns.
A lot of deer.
A lot of deer. Hey, deer.
Get over here, deer. That might
man.
just be the wife. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we settled on a 13 Loke. Very unlucky Loke. We are recording this on October 31st.
Halloween Loco.
Halloween Loke, man.
Ow! All right, today we're here with Kari Swirth from Irontek. Kari, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Not too bad.
Doing
so
well.
we wanted to find out. So I've been spending a lot of time at Irontek, and I want to get the information out there so other people who are interested can come and use this a valuable space. Do you want to give us the spiel?
Yeah, absolutely. So Irontek is a co-working tech hub and entrepreneurial space in downtown Beloit, Wisconsin. It's a super industrial space. It's a just a space that you would not expect to see in small town Beloit. But it's an area that we have co-working, small offices, private offices to rent, for businesses of all sizes. We want to try and allow startups to be built in downtown Beloit and build our economy in Beloit to just revitalize it. As you heard about the history of Beloit and just how we're trying to want to build back Beloit and the economy. It was just a really great fit for what we're trying to do in the community. So, like I said, we have offices that we can rent out, and then also our floating desks. So literally any business, small to large, can come in and use our space. And we have business resources, accelerator studio. So Russ, that's what you're going through.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of really great opportunities.
It is. And I wanted to get the word out there for listeners who are like in that entrepreneurial spirit to come and stop and talk to you and visit the website, come in and check out the awesome space. It's literally like, especially with COVID going on, right? You know, you need that outlet or another place to work where you're not at home to get out. And that's what I love about,
especially with like seasonal depression stuff kind of, maybe going to start setting in here.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
All too real for us Wisconsinites here. But, I think it's great to have some sort of a collaborative sort of community space available and to revitalize the Beloit area, which has been much needed for the last couple of years. And I know that we had a couple of friends that were working on the board, the city board, in working on that, and it's been amazing. I've loved it. I've loved watching sort of that new revitalization.
Absolutely. And that's what we needed, like it was after the paper mill went down it was just gloomy and there wasn't a lot of hope. And I know when I talk about the history with some other people, we just say how much of an eyesore that was, and just a reminder of how negative that time was, that all these people lost their jobs. And so now having, so many more companies, and it's being redone into this beautiful space, that it's not that eyesore anymore. Even downtown, if you're walking downtown, the new shops, the new restaurants that are down there, we have the brand new beautiful ABC Supply Stadium, so it's not just this hole anymore. I hate to refer it to that way, because it's not, but like, it's a place to be. It's a destination now. It's not just a pass through.
And that's what I think is important to be real about, the reality of what it kind of became, because Russ and I recently worked with the Menominee Valley Partners Group, which the Menominee Valley area in Milwaukee did the same thing, where it just became this brown space, is what they called it, where these leftover areas of manufacturing had all gone and left nothing, and it was kind of this area that you drive past on the highway and you just kind of think, oh wow, that's disgusting and ugly. And now you've got a lot of really great businesses thriving, and then Harley Davidson moved to that area with the museum, and this is exactly the thing that I see with Beloit's area there, where the paper mill was. And I think, of course, the Snappers, by having that ADC stadium, that is huge.
Absolutely. And we thankfully are keeping it. The stadium, obviously the stadium's going to stay, but having the team is going to stay in town, where we were on the verge of losing the Snappers. And so being able to keep them there, keep it as a destination, getting more hotels, and now that we have the stadium, there's more companies that want to come in, because they're going to start seeing more people passing through Beloit, coming into Beloit. It's becoming a place where people want to start their business, grow their business, bring their large companies to Beloit. So it's really awesome. I love it. Never in a million years would I have thought that I would be living in southern Wisconsin. I'm a Wisconsinite from through and through. I can't say that because I'm a Vikings fan, but
oh no,
I should never admit that, right? On a Wisconsin podcast.
It's okay though. It's okay, because I will admit I have donned a purple and gold jersey at one point because of Brett Favre, and that was because I didn't like how dirty the Packers did Brett, and then I was a fan for a couple of years with the Vikings. Now, that wasn't a fan of the Vikings. I was a fan of Brett Favre.
Absolutely. And then if you were a Viking fan, you weren't a fan of Brett Favre, but you were a fan of the Vikings.
For like 20 some years, you guys hated that guy.
I know. That's too funny. But so, like I said, I never in a million years would have thought that I would be living in southern Wisconsin, but I don't think I'll ever leave.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Eau Claire.
Okay.
And so, again,
so
Wisconsin.
Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. 90 minutes from the stadium.
You're more likely to visit the Twin Cities than you were Milwaukee or Madison.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that I'm, we're closer to Milwaukee, my husband's starting to make me a little bit of a Brewers fan. Don't tell my dad. Good. My dad will be, his heart will be broken.
The Twins are garbage.
Yeah, right. And they're different divisions, so it's okay. But
that's true too, though.
So I actually have a controversial stance here. So I am a Packers fan through and through, die hard, but I've said this on another podcast. If the Packers don't make it, I do root for the Vikings. When it comes to Midwestern Division, I am a Vikings fan after the Packers.
NFC North, I guess,
can't go Lions or Bears. Obviously, the Bears are no-go, no matter what.
If I had to choose, of course, it would be gun to my head, Vikings, but because I can't go Bears. If you go Bears, it's just like you might as well just exit the state because it's no go.
Yeah, you Vikings, can't do that.
And of course, I love the Twin Cities. I am absolutely a huge fan of
Bob Dylan, Prince. I mean,
I've been there a number of times. I love Detroit, but I don't love it as much as I love the Twin Cities.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm a big Matthew Stafford fan. So now that
he's in
he's
LA.
gone.
Yeah.
It hurt. I don't cheer for them as much anymore. But now that he's out in LA, I'll cheer for the Rams now, I guess.
Well, no, because next week, the Rams play the Packers, and you got to be full go. Packers all the way.
I don't know about that.
Come on now.
So I am happy though that Stafford has a better team because he is a great quarterback. To be honest,
deserving of that,
and he was on the Lions,
Absolutely.
so he definitely didn't get due justice. He never got to show. He never showed himself truly because he's a great quarterback. To be honest, but. All right, so yeah, and it's just great. So Beloit, actually, we talked about in a previous episode too. It's actually pronounced Beloit and Beloit. It's French, and it means beautiful prairie, beautiful prairies. And I think it's really getting to that point where it's beautiful again. And Kari, I'm so proud that I'm part of it, and I'm glad you're proud of it too, making the city just a better place. And
absolutely,
yeah, we really appreciate that. And so before we let you go, we have to ask, how Wisconsin are you?
Which,
oh boy,
we may know a few answers here, but
yeah.
that's okay. We're gonna give you a.
We're giving you a shot here.
We're giving you a shot.
Holy smokes! All right, here we go. All right, so when it comes to up north Wisconsin, what do you consider to be up north Wisconsin?
Up north, you mean, or up north?
Up north area.
Yeah.
Up north area.
Honestly, up past what is it, latitude 40?
I don't know. You got me on there.
That,
Did you say science?
Yeah.
I know.
We're talking science with Eric.
I believe in science, but I just don't know how it works. Still working on that. We'll talk about it later once I have a chance to look at this global warming thing. I've just been trying to work on that for a while. Recycling's tough too, but we're getting there.
Right. Honestly, anything above Eau Claire is up north.
All right.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
I agree with you.
That's a for sure, 100%. And then, so we're gonna ask. This is the next one. This might where it might get controversial. Have you ever tailgated at a Packers, Badgers, or a Brewers game?
No.
At any of them?
That hurts my heart. Actually, we didn't technically tailgate before the Packer game, but we were at the bars doing the whole
that's
Packer
tailgating.
thing.
You're good. You're good.
That's still tailgating.
Yeah, we just weren't at the cars.
Yeah,
grilling
fine.
out. Okay, all right. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's fine. We'll
accept
that one.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay,
let me just ask you really quick. Have you ever eaten a squeaky cheese curd?
Oh, absolutely.
I figured this. See, that was a softball. I was like, let me just give her this one. She can smash.
You're going
the
underhand on this one. Huh?
I wanted her to smash this one out of the park.
So then that leads into the old fashioned. Do you love old fashions, and do you prefer sweet or sour?
Sweet with Corbel.
Me too.
Oh, of course, Corbel.
So it's going to be a brandy old fashioned.
Yep.
Awesome. That's a true Wisconsinite thing, actually.
See, I'm just the brandy old fashioned sour.
Oh.
But and
I'm a sweet person, actually.
It depends. It depends on where you get it from. Some places completely phone in the sour, and it's just like they give you a can of squirt. However it's done, I prefer it if it's at a nice, dark, dim, dingy supper club.
Oh, absolutely. The only way to go.
So the next question I got that kind of leads into the next one here. For supper clubs, do you have a preferred supper club you love to go and visit?
Yeah, so we found some really great supper clubs once we moved to Janesville, Beloit area. In Beloit, there's the Butterfly Club.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gotta have the
I think
Butterfly.
It's all the same interior since it was bought.
Probably the same musician who's been playing music as well.
Yeah, and then I think it's technically Fort Atkins. It's Stagecoach. Two of our favorite.
Stagecoach. Oh yeah, and 26 there. You can't miss that one.
Yeah, on your way to Johnson's Creek.
Yeah.
Yep.
Out of town. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So the next one I got for you, and maybe you haven't done this one. This is have you been to Summerfest, and do you have a favorite band you saw there?
I've been to Summerfest once, and I think it's just I've been from just being
Eau Claire,
closer to Eau Claire, or in Eau Claire. So we went a couple years ago, and I saw Kane Brown.
Okay,
and that was super fun.
Now,
and then COVID hit, so I wasn't able to go last year, and then we didn't go this year.
Now there is a festival in Eau Claire. Have you been to that?
Yes, so that one's Country Fest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've been to that since I was 14 years old. I think I went every single year until I moved.
Well, isn't there's another one that I think was put on by like Justin Vernon.
Oh yeah.
Eau Claire. Is it just called Eau Claire?
Yeah,
Or-
where it's EAUX.
They throw the X. There you go.
Lair. Okay. Yep. And so that's going to be like more folk
kind of indie
music.
Indie
Yeah,
folk,
indie rock. Yep. I haven't been to that one because that was started once I left Eau Claire.
Okay, got it. Yep.
But I have friends that'll go, but it's on the same grounds as Country Jam.
Yeah, Foster Farms.
Justin Vernon and Bon Iver are like some of the best music though from Wisconsin. It's unbelievable that that's in
absolutely.
our state.
And I'm sure you were probably inundated with it being up there because Justin Vernon and Bon Iver have been a thing for quite a while. So
yeah. So they went to there's 2 public schools in Eau Claire, so he went to Memorial in Eau Claire.
Gotcha.
He was quite a bit older than don't want to say quite. I think he's probably 10 years older than I am.
He's basically retired, is what you're trying to say. Because I know for a fact that Justin Vernon listens to our podcast. Just kidding. He's a great addition, to our great Wisconsin, I guess, the celebrities that we can consider from here.
Oh yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
And
sure.
So on that note, when it comes to beer brats, do you have a beer that you use in them that you recommend?
Yes. So the husband has been kind of experimenting with beer brats recently. Okay. We had some last weekend, and you have to do we did a spotted, but he is really into, it has to be an IPA that goes in there.
Okay.
Or this year, I just had to run to the gas station because we didn't have an IPA. But we put an Oktoberfest in. So it was a Samuel Adams Oktoberfest, this last batch that we did, and it was delicious. So I think it was 2 Spotted Cow, and then 3 Samuel Adams Oktoberfest.
Dang, and cooking for an army out there.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of us. It was so good.
Yeah. Now we've heard Amber is about the I guess most repeated answer on this show.
Yeah, from all the breweries we've interviewed now.
Yeah, they all prefer their ambers in there. I'm with you. I tend to stick a bitter beer in there.
Yep.
Something that has a good flavor to it though still. Mostly like a Citra type IPA. And those tend to be some of the best brats I cook. And I mean, I can go either way as far as preparation goes, where I can put them in a bath beforehand, stick them on the grill, or I can pull them off the grill and put them in a bath.
Yep.
So we don't like to try to cross those lines here. We're not trying to start wars or anything. So whatever you do with the beer and the brats, it's all good with us.
Right, absolutely. And it depends on how long are you going to have until you're serving them.
Yeah.
Because if you make them and then people aren't coming over for a little bit, then you can throw them in that beer bath again with some onions and.
Yep. Oh, and a stick of butter, a whole stick.
Ooh, I haven't done a whole stick of butter. That sounds delicious.
I'm telling you right now, it makes it makes the whole roux almost creamier. And I like where you're going with the sliced onions because that's key. But I'm telling you, your game has changed when you throw in that stick of butter.
Stick of butter. All right, we'll have to do that on our next beer
batch.
The onion and the beer and that butter, let that go before you even put in any brats. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer.
Sure.
But
that sounds delicious.
Kari, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
Can you let us know how we can reach out and get a hold of you for people interested in Irontek?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can email us at Irontek. So it's IRONTEK it's info@irontek.co. So it's info@irontek.co. CO.
Okay.
And then just shoot me an email. You can check us out online as well. And there's a contact button and that'll just shoot me an email. And I'd love to meet you and get you set up with an office or a floating desk at Irontek.
Awesome.
Kari, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your Sunday. And we're recording on Halloween, so we hope you enjoy your Halloween as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. You have a good weekend as well.
You too, Kari.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right, that concludes this episode of Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast.
If you enjoyed this vulgar display of Wisconsin, please like and subscribe on whatever streaming platform you prefer. And remember to hit the bell on YouTube to be notified when we release new content.
Also, if you have any suggestions or ideas for future episodes, please send us an email at widrunkenhistory@gmail.com or head over to our Facebook and Instagram pages.
Thanks again for listening, and remember, as always,
Watch out for deer on your way home.